What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Altcoin Buzz coming to you from Portugal. So, uh, we're going to do this live feed here. I really do apologize to everyone for not being able to share my screen when I do these live feeds. I know that's really frustrating. Just as frustrating as it is for you, it is for me because it is really important for you guys to be able to see all the things that are going on the screen and not so much my face. I have no interest in showing broadcasting my face. I would, but because the technology that I'm using through YouTube Live only allows me to stream through my internal camera and not do a screen share. But people are saying happy birthday. Today's not my birthday. My birthday is not today. It's not even close. That's funny. You guys are saying happy birthday when it's not even my birthday. But hey, smash up the likes if you think it's my birthday. Or if you know it's not my birthday, smash up the likes. But yeah, it's not my birthday, okay? Anyways, thanks though for being so nice to say something so kind. But what am I talking about here is kind of in line with what I've been tweeting, Blockchain J. It's basically the domino effect. If you don't know what the domino effect is, they saw that in Vietnam in the Vietnam era, or well, actually the Cold War. The domino effect was the theory that if one nation fell to communism, then other nations would follow. So it was really important that Vietnam didn't fall to communism. So that was one of the reasons why the United States and the Western countries wanted to stop the rise of communism in Vietnam, because they said if Vietnam fell, it would be a domino effect. So how does that apply to cryptocurrency? Well, what I was kind of pondering, and I don't know for a fact. I'm not an insider, unfortunately. I don't have that kind of inside access. But basically, if one cryptocurrency were to sign with, say, Microsoft or Google or Facebook, that could potentially lead to big companies FOMOing to say, well, we need to get into this blockchain thing. You guys partner with Cardano. We need to partner with IOTA. These guys partnered with Ripple, so we need to partner with Stellar. These guys partner with blah blah blah, so we should partner with Ethereum. And then what could end up potentially happening is they get involved that way, which would lead to a domino effect, right? You ever played dominoes? Well, you set one off and it just spins all the way down, right? Or it just drops all of them. I guess drop is not the word that you should use, but you know how the dominoes work. So that's kind of one thought that I was having, was because right now we don't really have any big players. I mean, we've heard that IOTA was going to partner with Microsoft, and then we heard that they didn't. Then we heard that Facebook was getting involved with Coinbase, which doesn't even have a coin. But it's that kind of connection where you get the real world players, right? The big dogs in the room. They start collaborating with the blockchain community, and that's going to bridge the gap to make this thing a little bit more legitimate, and so we can take this thing more serious. Because right now, the question that everyone keeps asking, they say, hey, the number one question I've been getting lately is, Jeff, when video? So Jeff, when video? When's Jeff going to do a video? So I'm doing a video. So I've already answered that now. So the next question is, Jeff, can you guys talk more about real world use cases with cryptocurrencies? And there's just not really anything outside of a couple cryptocurrencies like Steemit and some of these other really just websites, right? So most of the cryptocurrencies outside of the currency, Bitcoin, which isn't really being used as the everyday currency, uh, doesn't really have anything to boot that's being used in the real world. I mean, even some of these messenger apps, like, I mean, we were talking about Obsidian, or 10x was supposed to be the next big thing. We'll see. I mean, we're still so far away from using cryptocurrency. People were asking me, hey Jeff, have you been seeing people smash up the likes, guys, so we get this out there? It's at 47. You guys crush up those likes, that'll get this thing moving. We're at 237 on the feed, 47 likes. That's good. Keep it going. But they said, hey, have you been seeing a lot of cryptocurrency stuff on your travels? You guys know I've been to what? I mean, I pulled up the app the last time you guys asked me. Let me just show you how many countries I've been to in just 2018. And part of this you guys think I'm, not working on crypto because I'm working on other things, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I'm actually paying attention to crypto. 20 countries in 2018. Okay, that's 51 different cities. So I've seen a lot of different, you know, opportunities for cryptocurrency and seeing if it's even on the radar. And I will say, in Europe in particular, Northern Europe has more blockchain infrastructure, uh, more interest in it, whereas Southern Europe, I haven't seen very much cryptocurrency or talked very much cryptocurrency in Italy, Spain, Portugal, uh, Greece. None of these countries are really big on crypto. Once I got south of Switzerland, it kind of just fizzled out. But I saw some stuff in the UK, in Switzerland. I saw some stuff. Germany's pretty big on it. Um, Amsterdam or Netherlands is getting into it. So Southern Europe not really doing too much with crypto. So it's got quite a long ways to go here because people don't really know much about what's going on. Also, guys, you guys asking me for if now's a good time to sell alts. I'm not going to answer that question for you because I don't give financial advice to you. That's up to you. I mean, for me, I, I'm sticking with the plan that I had a year ago. Okay, I'm holding. I'm a holder. I'm a long term holder. I'm not trying to day trade or anything like that. Maybe at some point in my life I'll start considering it. But from the beginning, I said I was just going to try to get into as many altcoin positions that I thought had potential to be successful. Obviously, right now we're really struggling with some of these altcoin projects getting any traction. Part of it is because of incompetence on leadership's part, and part of it is just because it's just not very fertile ground for them to, it's like trying to take a jackhammer right through, what, cobalt, like the most hard ground you could possibly do. It's just not going to get any penetration, even if they're the most stellar guys out there, right? But the time could come. Maybe you'll find a technology that'll break the ice, right? But yeah, I'm still sticking with my plan of holding altcoins. Uh, and I accept the response. I accept the potential that could come from it either way. It could be the greatest idea that I ever had, or it could be just like, hey, well, you win some in life, you lose some in life. Get over it, right? And that's why I don't put all my eggs in one basket. I'm also really big on real estate. I'm looking at other assets, and I have a real job that pays the bills. I'm not trying to be just investing in crypto as my full-time job, right? So yeah, I mean, but if you're going to hold, you have to take the same approach that I said. I said, they it could not work out, okay? But if you're gonna hold, you have to make that decision for yourself. It's not up to me. I can't. I don't. Most of you guys I talk to here and there, and I know you guys from Twitter and stuff where you guys are commenting, but I don't know you guys your portfolios look like, and I don't want to know because that's none of my business. But okay, so let's talk about that. Cryptocurrency, right now, Bitcoin dominance is at what, 46%, 46.7. We saw this happen before. I mean, a lot of people are new to the market. They don't necessarily remember when crypto, uh, Bitcoin, March of 2017, Bitcoin dominance was 85%. That means 15% of the market was altcoins. We watched that go way down really quickly. So Bitcoin pulled up a big dominance and then it dropped by June. So in the span of 3 months, it went down to 37%. But then in June, from June till December, it shot up to 61%. So over a 4-month period. Now we're just looking at historical data, right? Over the span of a 4-month period, Bitcoin had grown back up in dominance and stolen some of that thunder from the altcoins. Then in December, the altcoins came in fast and furious around about December 8th, and that dominance dropped to about 32%. Okay. Then it rose back up to 44%, 45% in March. I wish I could show my screen to you. I apologize that I can't. But then it dropped again back down to 36%. Now, why is this important? This Bitcoin dominance figure that people keep talking about. Well, the big thing that you're looking for with the Bitcoin dominance is Bitcoin is the one that people know about. The people who are not invested, they don't know about Ripple. They don't know about Stellar. Some of them know about Ethereum. Some of them know about Ripple, but PundyX, Edcash, yada, yada, blah, 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 Electronium, the masses don't know about those coins. So when they hear in their news or on the radio or wherever they're at, Bitcoin rallies up 22%, it kind of subconsciously gets in their mind, right? I mean, it's just the way it is. I don't make up the rules for the way the universe works, and I try whatever, right? So people will hear Bitcoin again. They'll be like, I thought Bitcoin went way down. You mean it's back up again? And then if Bitcoin goes back up above 20,000, then the news will be reporting what? Bitcoin reaches all-time highs. Then everyone's like, wait a second, I thought Bitcoin was dead. Now it's reaching all-time highs again? Okay, this is just kind of like, if we were writing a script, we don't know how the future is going to look, but that's kind of how the script would look in my mind, because we've seen that happen before, where it goes down and up, down and up, down and up, and it takes 8 years sometimes for the process to go through, right? And then the next thing you know, Bitcoin is at an all-time high. People are like, oh shoot, I should get into this Bitcoin thing because it's like, it's at an all-time high. So what are they going to do? We talk about this countless times. They're going to buy high. Well, so if we look at the Bitcoin dominance historical, when Bitcoin goes up, okay, it rides up, it keeps climbing, and then at some point it reaches its peak, and then that money starts to flow into alts. Okay, so then the altcoins kind of have a resurgence and come back. So it could be theorized that as this bleed out is happening, now might be a potentially strong opportunity for some people to consider getting into their favorite altcoin positions, because why? We buy low, not high. Okay. Now, if we're looking at the other side of the coin, where we have to go to that other side of the coin, just not because you guys don't know, but because we have to talk about it, because some people might hear that and say, okay, yeah, blah, they'll go do whatever. There is also people who say that there's only going to be one cryptocurrency that's going to win out, and it's probably going to be Bitcoin, and all these other ones are scams. Do I know that for a fact? No. Do you know that for a fact? No, because if we knew that for a fact, then we'd all be time travelers and we'd be, rich, because you'd be picking the lottery numbers probably tomorrow and just gaming the whole system. So this is what it is. We're in a highly volatile market. It's a high risk investment, high risk, high reward, right? That's what makes crypto so exciting, but at the same time, we know that it's a volatile market. Let me read some of these comments now. Thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes. We're at 95, and we've got 344 people now watching. See, so when you guys crushed up those likes, you brought in more people, which builds our community. All right. Todd says the market would have to drop to 150 billion to have Bitcoin 5,500. Okay, so we still got the bears in the house, and those people are just to keep you honest, right? I get scared when I hear people start talking about Lambos and start talking about how they're going to get rich and retire early, because typically that's not what's going to happen. More often than not, that's not what's going to happen. There has to be correct fundamentals and correct principles in place in order for things to work properly. If you think this is a get rich quick scheme, that's not the direction that you want to be taking your mind, okay? You want to be looking to gain sustainable, healthy wealth. Okay. That means people aren't getting hurt along the way, people aren't getting scammed along the way, and the market is growing with a healthy, it's being backed by healthy growth. Okay. So retirement early is for the pigeons anyway. And if you're trying to retire, you're probably not going to like me, because I don't believe in retirement, because even if I was retired, I'd still be trying to build something in my backyard and saying that was my job. So if you're one of those retirement types, you're probably not going to like me too much, because I believe in waking up with a purpose every morning. What do you think about blockchain terminal? Can you review it? Looks like the future of trading, says Ashley. I don't know. I don't know about them. Jeff, VeChain going to VET, it is having a great positive impact on the market. Well, let's take a look at some of your guys' coins here. We'll take a look at VeChain. It's one of the coins that I hold, but I don't hold a lot of VeChain. It's one of those dApps that I'm, kind of riding with, along with Stellar and Ethereum and Cardano and, you know, Neo. Actually, I don't hold any Neo anymore. Ethereum Classic. Wow. Anyways, we'll see. I mean, I got a lot of coins. I mean, we'll see. I'm heavy in some and not so heavy in others. Life. It's life, guys. Um, I'm selling my Lambo for a Ford KA. Ouch. By Kin. John Hill says Kin. Jeff, term thoughts on ETN. Yeah, I mean, I tweeted about ETN the other day. It looks like ETN might be close to the bottom. So if ETN rebounds, I mean, there could be some massive gains. If ETN goes back up to 13 cents at some point on a run, we don't know. I mean, I don't know. If it goes up to 13 cents, I'd be stoked, especially if I buy ETN at 1 penny. I mean, that would be a 13 times gain. If ETN goes to 3 cents, I'd be happy with my 3 times gainer right there. And I think ETN has some things it has achieved some things that are pretty impressive, like it has one of the largest user bases. And it did bleed out like a son of a gun here on this it did bleed out pretty hardcore. I mean, it was once 13 cents, 15 cents, and now it's at 1 cent. So coin could run and then become a popular coin again. And if it does, what if it goes to 4 cents? I mean, go from 1 cent to 4 cents. What kind of gain are you looking at? If it goes to 10 cents, so I think ETN's in a position where it could really get some traction. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's all I can say about it. I don't know. Yeah, Yeah, there were some other ETN was moving today. There was some other coins that were moving today, but usually those are just selling opportunities. Really, they're not buying opportunities. If you're trying to buy one that really just bled out like a son of a gun today was Bitcoin Diamond. Bitcoin Diamond was once a project that people were pretty excited about, and it went down 48%. So it's at 220. I remember when that thing was up above $50. So that's kind of interesting to see. You guys got any ideas about the Bitcoin private's up today? Bitcoin private, when we first started talking about it, was at $18. Now it's at 763. I'm still just as excited about Bitcoin private, even though I'm down a bit on that project. But I think that it's still something that I'm actually looking to accumulate at that price, because I like that coin in the privacy sector. Sure, I'm down on it right now, but you see how my mentality is. I'm not like, depressed about it, because I keep my focus. Why did I get into the position to begin with? And I also accept the fact that it could go up or down, and I accept the volatility, and I don't put in any more money than I can afford to invest, lose if the worst case scenario. That's why I don't get too riled up when it goes down like that, and I take the position of maybe buy more. This ETF, if you guys are going to talk about the ETF, now is probably a really good time to get the chatter going about the ETF. Hi, Jeff. Do you hodl SafeX, and how high you think it could go? Okay. I've already mentioned I hold SafeX. I'm not going to give a price projection on SafeX right now, because the only thing I'll say about SafeX is SafeX has been very stable throughout the whole in 2018. So it's been a secure investment. And that a lot of that has to do with the one exchange that it's on. If it gets onto more exchanges, there could be more price action up or down. Yeah. Uh, Binance Coin, Altcoin Buzz Lady says so has Binance Coin. Binance Coin has been a really good investment, and I like Binance Coin. The thing to keep an eye on about Binance Coin is this war that's being waged against centralized exchanges. You all know that Binance is very centralized. There's two ways to look at the centralization of exchanges. One, you have this emphasis on security that makes it great, because the project's incentivized to keep it safe. A decentralized exchange, the creator could go away, and then all of a sudden it's being run by people who are not so strong on security, and then it's vulnerable. So it's like, would Facebook be a great decentralized application? Would Google be a great decentralized application? Would Tesla be a great project without Elon Musk? Like, if these centralized people, these leaders went away, right? Zuckerberg, Sergey Brin, or Elon Musk, or Larry Page, or Jeff Bezos, will the project still run at the high level? And at the end of the day, just like Bitcoin, Satoshi, whoever he is, now it's in, the, a hand of some developers who are building, creating the block sizes and developing the Bitcoin Lightning Network and all that. It's still some people. It's not like it's completely decentralized, right? There's still people that are working on the project. And it's not everyone in the world or everyone who holds Bitcoin is working on Bitcoin. Who said that? Red or rad? Well, my opinion on the ETF is, I mean, I'm gonna keep calm on that one, and I'm just gonna say if that goes through, that will be a big day for Bitcoin. I think that could carry into some positive results for altcoins. But I would say that if it doesn't go through, it doesn't mean that uh, crypto's in trouble or done. I don't think. It just means that get ready to hold a little bit longer and just kind of take that, and that's where I have my mind already mentally prepared for holding. That's I put my mindset into hold. And I have people who are like, oh, I shorted, I'm short. I'm like, okay, so you shorted, you you took a loss, so you didn't take a huge loss because you don't want to be patient, so you just took the loss. Well, maybe you're great, or maybe you're like just taking a whole bunch of losses because you only lose if you sell, right? So if you're doing that and you notice that you just keep shorting everything, um, me personally, I'd rather not short. I'd rather just hold and try my luck that way. IOTA, the Internet of Things, right? The Tangle Ledger. We'll see where they go. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Anyways, thanks to everyone who crushed up the likes. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. Uh, also, yeah. I mean, I'm open to ideas if you guys say anything, but uh, Emmerich says, "What are your heaviest coins, Jeff?" Well, I'm really heavy on Bitcoin, uh, Stellar, Cardano. Those are some of my heaviest coins. I'm very top 5, top 10 heavy. Oh, Ethereum, probably Ethereum actually. Ethereum is probably my top hold. So, but I do have some altcoin projects that I've been invested in because back in the day you could get a bunch of altcoins. Well, now they're even worth less. So you could get a lot of altcoins for pretty cheap without having to break the bank. And if they have some big gains, that would be awesome. If they go to zero, then you lose all your money. So, um, no, I'm not retired. Absolutely not. I just went over that. I don't retire. I will never retire. Retire from what? You mean, do I have like a boss who yells at me if I don't show up to work at 8 o'clock? No, I don't have that. But I don't call that retired. But I did punch the clock for the Uncle Sam for about 10 years, and I took a tongue lashing here quite a few times from some superiors because I was funny. I was a funny guy. What do you think of Neblio? You think you look like a soldier? Booyah, Navy. Oh, we don't know about alts yet. I mean, Adriana says, "Do you think most alts will rise? Coins will rise again?" I mean, that's like saying, "Do I think the U.S. economy is going to go up in the next 5 years?" I hope so. But if it doesn't, I'm also looking to position myself for what I can buy really good specials. Like, when the US economy went down, look at all those people who scooped up a whole bunch of real estate for really good prices, right? Or look at the people who scooped up a whole bunch of stocks in 2008, 2009. I mean, what? You could get Goldman stock for a really good price. You could get Ford for a really good price. I mean, there was Citigroup. What? You could get Citigroup for, I think I bought Citigroup in 2008, uh, back when it was like, I want to say, oh man, I don't actually remember. I think it was like $3 or $4, and now what is Citigroup stock at? I mean, but I sold it because I was young and I was doing what most young people do. I was like trying to get the. I was trying to. I was like, oh, this isn't working out. Citigroup's at $70 now, but in 2009 you could get Citigroup for a really good price, right? So it's just when it when it comes down to these kind of things, I don't know. Maybe it was less. Maybe it was only $30. Huh. Okay. That doesn't matter as a stock. But um you guys are asking me about the politics with Trump. Like I was telling you guys on my Twitter, I said I'm not left or right. I use my own brain for what I think makes sense and what doesn't. Um so I'm not a left. I don't align with liberal. I don't align with all the liberal things, and I don't align with all the conservative things. I'm liberal on things like finance. So what does it mean to be liberal, right? Liberal means that you're into things changing. You don't mind a little bit of change. If you're a conservative, you want things to stay the same way they are, right? Well, with finance, if you're conservative about finance, you want the finance to stay with the dollar and not change from the paper money system that we have. If you're liberal on finance, like I am on finance, you want the cryptocurrency thing to come in, so you're liberal on that policy. If you're conservative on things like, I don't know, the institution of marriage, say you think that you want to preserve the institution of marriage, so you want to conserve it, right? So as you can see, I do it on a case by case basis. If I pick a subject, I do it based on what I think makes the most sense about that subject. So when you're asking me if I align with Trump or not, some things I agree with him on, some things I don't agree with him on. I'm not all the way for him, and I'm not all the way against him. Same thing with Obama. There was a lot of things that Obama did that made sense. There was a lot of things that Obama did that were not, that I didn't agree with. And I'm allowed to have that right, and so are you. And so, same thing with Bush. There's some things that Bush did that just made me go, whoa, what's going on with that? And some things that Bush did that I think he'll go down in history for doing the right thing on. Making tough decisions are really tough. It's tough to make tough decisions, right? I mean, we're talking like things that people might be against. If you look at history, people were against a lot of decisions that were not popular that ended up going down in history as being great decisions, great moments in history. So a president is defined by their decisions in tough times, when even the media or the public could be against that decision, but they make the decision that they feel is best for the long-term growth of the country. That was not actually my question. I'm talking about the way he influences regular markets with, for example, his trade war and his tirade towards Europe. How do you think this influences us? Trump hasn't really said much about cryptocurrency, and I've been waiting to see if he will ever say anything about cryptocurrency. But the trade war is something that I find to be very see, when a trade war happens, it's shots fired in different sectors potentially. It's not always going to be the way that you think. So uh, if one industry is a cash cow right now in the United States, technology is a cash cow. Silicon Valley. If you look at the top 5 largest companies in America, I want to say they're all 5 tech: Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Amazon, and like eBay or something. I'm sure I missed one. But for the most part, they're tech. That's the cash cow. So if Trump is trying to do something like stimulate an industry like coal or oil or something, or steel, like he did with the EU can't really affect the United States with the industry stuff. So they'll go after what? The cash cow. And the cash cow is tech. So when you start seeing fines from the EU on technology companies, Google, Facebook, blah, 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 that could be a way of them retaliating. And then when they retaliate like that, it makes up for a deficit where they're going to lose funds in their steel tariff. They could be making it up in a fine, or what ends up happening is that tech company then becomes against that administration. So they start to do things to undermine that administration who's causing them heartache and financial pressure. That's kind of how trade wars happen. Okay. Or that's kind of how tit for tat happens. They don't just go like, well, you affected the steel industry, so I'm going to get you on the iron ore. It doesn't typically work like that. It's like, well, you got me here, so I'm gonna have to get you over here. It's like when you're playing chess. Just because I take your pawn doesn't mean that you might come back and take my knight, which is a totally different chess piece. You get the point? So people were arguing with me, telling me that I didn't make much sense with that, and I was like, really, you don't think they're going to go after the cash cows, the tech industry? It's not really rocket science to think about how that stuff would pan out or play out. Marcus says, I'm from the EU, and the EU is crap run by Germans still trying to conquer Europe. Deutsche Bank is failing already. Okay. Crypto is a libertarian construct, not establishment at all. And right now, the neocons, Oz, I don't, if you guys are going to use these, please don't use slurs or anything like this in in, in these comments, because that's one way to get banned. If I'm going to read your comments and you guys are going to talk like that, sounds like fascism. Jeff, you should look into hydrogen. Okay. I'm trying to read these. What about academic free Medicare, Jeff? Well, that's an idea that's a utopian ideal. It's whenever something's utopian, it I would say you know what utopian means, and just in case you don't, I know most you know what utopia is, but utopia is this perfect world, right, where free healthcare. um, that sounds like a utopian idea. I mean, right now I know people who are paying $1,500 a month in healthcare. So to go from 1,500 to zero with a family of four, mm, it sounds good in theory, but will it really happen? We'll see. Crypto Coin says I'm paying Obamacare 700 penalty. Ouch. A lot of comments coming in. Free for some means more expensive for others. Yeah, that's what Susan said. That's typically what ends up happening. It's like they say, what do they say? Rob Peter to pay Paul. Get rid of the insurance companies so people can afford. Well, one of the things that I'm noticing is that just the general healthcare, the doctors don't know very much in the United States in particular. Like people have to, like if they have like health ailments, in order to actually treat it, they've got to go out of the country to go get some qualified, knowledgeable healthcare. And like, I mean, sometimes if you're on your deathbed, money doesn't really matter. Like you'll pay whatever is required to get it. And it's better to live than to have a bunch of money and die, right? And right now, I think the big concern is that the quality of healthcare is really just atrocious. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, there was a point in time where you could go into a doctor's office and they would, you know, be able to get the finger on the pulse, right? And know what's going on through diagnostics or even just kind of your symptoms. Nowadays, it's kind of like people are having to go back and back and back and back, and things aren't getting healed or treated. And some of these things aren't very complex, like misdiagnoses and all sorts of stuff like that. So, um, I'd rather have a high quality healthcare program and pay for that than have a cheap low quality care. Okay. And I think right now we're paying a lot of money, or the citizens are paying a lot of money and not getting a very good health care. That's the way I approach that one. What about John McAfee? The guy is still telling coin of the day. John McAfee. I mean, John McAfee. I don't know. I think John McAfee drinks scotch or whatever he drinks, and he has these ideas when he drinks. I think he's got a solid track record, and I think there's stuff you can learn from him. But if you're following John McAfee's financial advice for your portfolio, I wouldn't recommend that. I think that I follow John McAfee just because he's got interesting insights into things because he's an old man. But do I think McAfee sometimes off his rocker? Yeah. Do I think he's senile? No. But can I tell when McAfee's had a few drinks? Yeah. It's like, can you tell when I've had a few drinks? Yeah. I mean, there's things that I'll say when I'm drinking that when I wake up, I'm like, oh man, I don't know why I said that. Like right now, I haven't had any drinks all day, right? So I'm completely sober. But when I've had a couple drinks, maybe sometimes I'll say something and I will think it was a great idea at the time. And then I'll wake up and I'll say, why did I say that? Does it mean I'm a bad guy? No, it just means that I was under the influence. You get it? Tori Oak says, why is there so much fighting in the crypto community when we are trying to make sure the world adopts it while we are at war with each other? Which coin is better that is backwards? That's a good point, Tori. I mean, you see it today, or you'll see it all the time with Roger Ver, Charlie Lee, some of the most prominent people to it. I mean, if Craig writes Satoshi, eek, that guy, he's worse than Trump on Twitter. I mean, you know how Trump every single day he tweets out something negative. It's like, does the guy ever have a positive day? Like a positive day is where everything, you just have a positive outlook. Although you could look at it and say, well, these are old people. Maybe not every day is positive. There's always going to be like, maybe if you have a 70-30, right? 70% of the day is positive and 30% of the day is a bad day. It seems like realistically, that's kind of more of how it goes. So if you're more positive than you are negative, realizing that negative is going to happen. But if we were to look at the cryptocurrency community overall, are we more positive or more negative as a community? That would be the question that I would have, because I think that no matter what, there's always going to be these rebound, and that's the thing. I know that I've got some. I didn't intentionally get into those, but just in life, I mean, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. You just want to win more than you lose. So you have to take that into consideration. You want to have like, it's like a basketball player or a quarterback. Okay, a basketball player, he might have a 50% field goal percentage or a 90% free throw percentage. They're not 100% free throws, not 100% on field goals. Even a quarterback's completion ratio is what, 50%, 60%, 70%. So I mean, with everything, you just got to try to be above, and so Bab, I don't have any thoughts on Bab, my friend. I haven't looked into Bab. I don't have any interest in it. If it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. Up on that, it's growing on Facebook. We just reached a pretty big number up with some people on Island Hopper TV because I like going to islands and bringing people with me. It's more fun than doing solo, but I'll do solo for the time being while I do some scouting, right? Anyways, guys, we'll see y'all later, and see ya.